So, hello and welcome to Let's Talk Why Representation Matters Across. My name is David the Smiley. I am your host, and today I'm here. We'll be talking about Hispanic representation, as well as how it has impacted the way people see each other today. So, I'm going to give you a brief introduction. Jen, or Ginger Martinez, is a fashion designer in Houston, Texas. Through fashion, Jen's brand focuses on creating custom clothing for both stage and video. When it comes to designing clothing and costumes, Jen focuses on sustainability, which also includes upcycling and tailoring. Through her unique way, Jen has continued to help grow the art scene here in Houston, Texas by hosting fashion shows which not only showcase her designs, but they show local models, makeup artists, and music talents that reside in Houston. Jen received her A.A.S, or Associate Applied Science in Fashion Design, and Jen has also had the opportunity to travel and work in New York and London to study fashion design. In conversation today with Gin Martini will be myself, David the Smiley. I am a actor, cosplayer, Q&A host, panelist, podcaster, and more. And first, I would like to thank you all for tuning in. Without further ado, get started. So, my first question to you, Jen, is how are you?
Good. I am doing great today. I'm very at peace with the work that I have going on today. And I am meeting a client in a little bit for a wedding dress consultation slash final fitting. So that's exciting. We're doing a couple of pieces for her. And I'll give you a sneak peek right there,
Pretty.
if you can see. And it's a upcycled coat that goes over her wedding dress, made from the same wedding dress of different dresses. So she bought like 3 of the same dresses and is letting me like cut them up and do what I need to do to put those together. So yeah, so I'm doing great.
Interesting. That's an interesting take on it.
Yeah, it's
So,
really cool.
but to my next question, what got you interested in fashion design?
So I started doing fashion because my mom was sewing all my dance costumes growing up, and she always had a room in the house that was dedicated to sewing and making clothing and that kind of thing. So I would help her from time to time and like cutting and light sewing or things like that. But I was always really interested in the fabrics that she used. So it was always like really cool um, spandexes or colorful things or things like that. So really, I got into the fabrics first, and then I got more into like constructing clothing, like for my Barbies and things like that. So I, it made me really excited to like start doing more things for people. And then when I got older, in college and stuff, I met some like drag queens, and they always need new outfits every week as a new show. So they're like, "Hey, girl, can you like make this look for me, or like what do you have that I can wear and I can buy from you?" And so they kept me busy. They got me started in doing more club kid type stuff, and rave wear and things like that. I was really into cyber goth and cyber dog and stuff like that. So um, yeah, so that kind of got me into it, and then got me started and here to where we are today, and just doing cosplay and more drag and more performance and circus and musicians and all kinds of fun funky stuff.
For those of you that are like tuning in, first and foremost, I want to say Gin Martini itself, original outfit by her. And this was inspired by the character Ruby Rod from Fifth Element. So I was like, and this is the first year I've decided to go back to this character. So I and I need someone to make this. I know you can do it. Like, and she is perfect. It's like the most perfect person. I'm like, yes, yes, Sabi, you could do it.
And it came
So,
out amazing, and you look incredible.
like, and I don't know what my lights do right now, but my camera is like doing this like weird, like it's bright, then it like doing some weird focus thing. So I have, but fashion aside, what was it like for you, like growing up in as a Latina?
Well, I'm mixed, so I'm technically Mexican and Puerto Rican mixed, and I'm like fifth or sixth generation American. So I was never like, so I was raised here, but we still have a lot of roots um, in different places. So it was kind of weird because I wasn't necessarily taught Spanish the same way that some people were growing up. So I didn't really feel like I fit in with more Hispanic people. But then I also didn't really fit in with, more Caucasian people because then I look too Hispanic, or like not too Hispanic, but you know what I mean. I look not as Caucasian as them, or have dark hair, or whatever it is. So I kind of fit more in with like the theater kids at that point, and the club kids, and all that stuff. So it definitely was hard trying to find where you fit in, understanding a certain language, but not necessarily being able to speak it back. Um, Understanding the nuances with that language as well. Um, so you learn how to like kind of be more, I don't know, get along with different types of people better. So it's being like body language is a big thing. So talking to other people, like you go like this, that means eat, I'm hungry, my stomach hurts, different like kind of signing things that's not necessarily actual sign language, but like, what we've learned as sign language. And it kind of helps kind of build those barriers between languages. So you can say things like, I go to the bathroom, I'm hungry, I'm, things like that. Um, so yeah, so it was kind of hard in that way where I didn't feel like I fit in too much. So I had to create my own lane of artistry and artists, and building the bridge of like, theater, cosplay, performance, focusing more on those types of things instead of trying to focus on, oh, how can I connect with people based on this one thing, more so than I'm connecting with people because it's art, and we all have to make art, and we all have to feel something. So I think growing up, you know, with this culture, I kind of wish I knew more recipes, maybe. Like, definitely could learn some new recipes for food, but yeah, I mean, either way, it was just trying to find a place to fit in, and then realizing that I could just create my own lane of, where to fit in, and then just go from there.
Right. Now, look, I'm all with you for the recipes because one who doesn't cook, uh, food, I'm a foodie. Like I literally, I wasn't going to a little small breakfast, a little sausage,
Yeah.
egg, a cheese bacon omelet, and then like to go with it. I just like too extravagant because I want to do like some pancakes, scrambled
Yeah.
and have that, like like an actual Sunday like brunch meal.
Right.
Now, I do want to ask, and this is continuing off on like the last question I asked. When was the first time you actually saw Latino representation in?
Yeah, so I want to say one of the earliest memories of seeing someone similar to me would be West Side Story, to be honest, and any similar to people that I kind of knew as well. Whether it was like the accents that they were talking in, um, the singing, the very passionate way of feeling, you know. I think that West Side, because we grew up watching like a lot of musicals, like Cats and what's the other one? Chorus Line. Um, anything that was like a musical, Rent. So West Side Story would come on, and I'm like, oh hey, I know those dresses, I know those that hairstyle, I know that, you know, the way those people are talking to each other and like kind of ripping on each other and stuff, you know, like we like to kind of make fun of each other and sort of, um, yeah. So I think that was probably the earliest time I've seen something like that, and I was like, oh okay, cool, got it, you know, and it made me feel like a little bit more seen and like, oh, there's people like me somewhere.
You don't think about it, like, honestly, you really don't think about it at the time. It's like, oh, it's just like it's whatever. Like you see the
Yeah.
same actors or people, and then it's like that. But then you think about how each of these like characters are being portrayed, how we see them, and like, is this what media sees us as, or is
Right,
this
right,
only fictional
right.
at this?
Yeah. Like it's like a
So
caricature of the culture or like an exaggerated version of the culture versus like this is actually what people do, you know? Yeah. Yeah.
like, did you see the movie? Oh,
Which one?
did you see that movie?
Yeah, yeah. I love that movie.
Nice movie. Like when I like sat down and had the time to watch it, I was like, oh, this is actual like culturally accurate, and it's
Yeah,
not
that
washed or anything.
yeah,
There's a
that I want to say definitely like with trying to honor your traditions, you know, and honor the things that like, you know, your family worked so hard to set these things up for you, but then you're like, no, I don't want to do that. And it's like, but why not? Like, we literally set this up for you. It's like, because that's not who I am, you know, but it's like, you still have to honor those things and like all the hard work that they put in and recognize that. And then figure out your own lane and like what you want to set up for the future, you know?
true. Now, for those of you that are tuning in, Jen is actually getting ready to go somewhere. So this is also it's perfect for the question I'm about to ask you
Okay.
is your creative process. And obviously, like you're getting ready, like on the live right now, like makeup and everything. So, creative process.
I think um I think everything is energy. So when you think about being creative, you're thinking about where you're putting your energy into. And to me, I like fabrics to like talk to me. Like I like to pick out a fabric and like be like, what do you want to be, you know? And kind of figure out draping on the mannequin or what patterns do I have that will fit this style or if it's stretchy or non-stretchy. You kind of consider all the skills you have plus all the kind of ways that things should be and shouldn't be, like the rules. You have to know the rules so you know how to break them. So when you're being creative, you're experimenting. To me, creativity is experimenting and fun.
Mhm.
So that could be across the board with any like skill or any job or anything. Creative just means that you're experimenting and you're having fun. So when I'm like cutting stuff up and like trying it out, sometimes it doesn't work, you know. Sometimes I don't like the way it looks, or like I do it and I put it on the mannequin and I'm like, I don't think it's gonna fit the way I want it to. So then you just go back to the drawing board and start again. But for me, the creative process is very it has a lot to do with music. So depending on like what music you're listening to, or tuning in and getting into like the flow state, and then putting that energy into like what you're doing. So it can be hard sometimes because doing this full time, you do get it's easy to get distracted, you know. So trying to find those moments where you can just lock in for like a good hour or so and like really just focus on being creative, whether it's like drawing or sketching, painting, cutting stuff out, you know. Um, I think the creative process can be sacred. Like when you're getting your makeup ready to go out or go do a show or something, it's like you kind of have that moment of like calm before the storm, and then you're like, all right, let's do this, you know. I'm ready. So I think, yeah, that's part of my creative process. A lot of it is music too, like playing some good music in the background and having that
Oh
moment.
yeah, background music is very necessary. But no, like one of the other things about being creative is you have to watch your burnout because
Mm-hmm.
burnout on you and I'm like, quite honest, like I did a lot last year, but this year like I've just been like getting burned out so much more easier
Mm-hmm.
and it makes sense. But the more I think about it, the more I'm like, I did a lot last year. I'm still doing a lot this year. That's why I'm like, I'm completely burnt out, like creatively wise.
Hmm. Yeah, getting burnt out creatively is definitely easy to do and easy to feel. Um, but it's again, like I said, it's an energy. So either you just need to like be around more creative people, go to more creative spaces, and then watch more creative things. So like I keep fashion shows on the TV playing when I'm in here, so that way whenever I look up, I'm like, oh, that's a cool dress. Okay, they did it that way. Got it. You know, and stay in that headspace of like, creating and being basically. But burnout is real, and you got to give yourself, you know, at least however much time you need to recoup and recover and not be creative. Like we need to do nothing sometimes too, and just sit in nature and like enjoy the trees and the, whatever, sunshine, water, go to the beach, things like that. Yeah.
No, and I like all for that. I feel like when I'm not doing something not creative, like I feel that I'm not doing enough, and it's like you can do more, but at the
Yeah.
same time you still have a break, and it's like the breaks are necessary. It is so necessary. I for myself that time. Trust and believe I'm not. I will. I will eventually, but I am like not at that time right now.
Right.
Um,
Exactly.
but I also want to talk about like what are your other passions? What's something else like you're passionate about?
Oh, so I really enjoy writing music and playing the guitar and playing piano. So I have another account on here called Gin Martini Can Sing, because I had a lot of people back in the day that they knew me for doing like clothing and fashion, and then they were like, "Oh, you can sing too? What?" So then I just called that my account. It was like Gin Martini Can Sing too, because I started with singing and then I went into fashion. So it began with singing and performing and dancing and all that stuff. And then it moved into just highlight, I guess, like focusing on fashion. But I have like 2, 3 albums out on Spotify, on iTunes, on wherever you listen to music, YouTube, you can look it up. And then I have a new album coming out the end of the year as well. I have a single coming out this week that I'm going to drop called Green Grass, and I just released the single Yellow Sun. You'll see this one in the picture. Yeah. So yeah, music is a really big um, inspiration for me as well, an outlet.
Glad it is. I'm
Yeah.
glad it is, and I'm glad like you have that. You know, like, people know us for like our like niche groups, but like there's more like to
Yeah.
us.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly.
Now, I do want to ask you, have you ever like felt personally represented in media?
Um, I want to say honestly, no. At this point, um, creatively, yes. Like as an artist, yes. Um, as a Hispanic female, no. I don't think. that people really focus on. I think they focus on like the bimbo types, if that makes any sense. Like very Selma Hayek, Sofia Vergara. You got to be like curvy, you know, and not just like look normal. Well, not normal because they do look normal, but you don't see that type of woman necessarily like every day at your local grocery store. You know, maybe in church, maybe at the club. You'll see some girls dressed up. But as far as like a five, I'm the same height as Danny DeVito. So imagine someone that tall, aka that short, um, and a Hispanic and a female. There's not really like they're usually like nice and lanky, and it's just different. I never really see the only person I get compared to actress wise is Mae Whitman, who most people know as one of the seven evil exes in Scott Pilgrim, the one who had the yeah.
No, uh, let's be one.
Yes, yes.
Like,
Yeah,
it's the lesbian one.
yeah, yeah. So I get compared to her a lot, which is cool because she's a badass, so I don't mind that at all. But
Right?
huh?
The voice actor of Tinkerbell.
Yeah, yeah. I think so. And what being a wallflower or one of those movies, um, indie kind of films, and then on I think it's Good Girls or Bad Girls on Netflix, I think.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, she's cool. She always gets really good roles, but that's the only person I've actually been compared to, actress wise, I guess. And then I get Lady Gaga all the time, of course, but I have a wider nose.
I feel like
Yeah,
reasons like I'll get Chris Tucker, but like he's a tall guy and I'm kind of short.
yeah, right.
Um, Most recently, and I can't pronounce his name right half the time. I've been getting the comparison of the newest Doctor Who.
I can see that.
I'm getting that like a lot. Like, ah, like maybe not, but I can't even pronounce his name properly. Like, and I do that,
Right.
but I'm not even a Doctor Who fan. That's the issue. I'm like, well, it's like Doctor Who like anytime soon because I never got into it.
Right.
I never got into it.
It's pretty
But
good. It's really good. Yeah.
now I will say this though, back to what you were saying earlier about how you see like the types of Hispanic women like predominantly in like movies, TVs and TV shows and everything.
Mhm.
And if you say for instance if it was someone of your type, like you say you're like about Danny DeVito's height, 5 feet something, um essentially those are usually like the help, the
Right.
maids.
Right. Exactly. Exactly.
Characters that either don't have a lot of lines or are just there for a moment and you never see them for like
hmm
more than or like the rest of the season for that
You
matter.
know.
Like you
You know
have
what? You know what movie I watched recently though that I did feel very seen and heard by was and Everything Everywhere All at Once. Did you see that one yet? The daughter, like the way she was like dressed like this basically half the movie, and like but then she would change clothes and then it would be different looks and different styles. That felt, and then of course the whole dynamic of the mom daughter relationship and all that stuff. Very on the nose, um, very accurate, um, very represented, definitely. Um, and I think that's the closest thing recently that I've seen that I was like, oh, they get it, they understand, and it wasn't just because of the certain culture necessarily. It's like across the board.
Yeah,
relatable.
that's no, like, and it is the funny thing is this is that yes, we are people of color, but at the same time, like there are so many similarities in
Yeah.
like all different like there's like you don't think about it until like you sit down and have that conversation with someone and talk to
Mm-hmm.
them. And my one of my biggest things is I actually for my day job, I'd actually interviewed this author and she's also Puerto Rican. She's Puerto Rican half white. And she was in the book, her fiction, it's her first adult fiction book.
Mm-hmm.
And I read it. I read through it. And what in that book, it talks about like, colorism and how like a lot of like darker shaded Puerto
Mm-hmm.
Ricans would not be in like the
Mm-hmm.
main house,
Mm-hmm.
be in like the backyard or like this outhouse area. Whereas someone who had your complexion, or like
Mm-hmm.
bright, they'd be in the main house. And I'm just like, oh wait, no, that's colorism. That
Mm-hmm.
and people see it all the time. It's like, oh, this is what all field slaves and house slaves, and essentially like kind of just worded different.
Yeah. Yeah, basically. And I think that's a very similar thing when people see me. I'm very pale, or paler than someone who's maybe raised in, Mexico or South Texas or something. And I have freckles. So I have features that immediately you're like, oh, she's white. And then it's like, no, I have dark hair. I have a wider nose. I have brown eyes. And it's like, wait, is she white? And so people get confused and they're instead of just, talking to me and then immediately having respect, they're trying to determine whether I deserve respect or not based on my features and my height and my, gender. So instead of just outwardly being like, oh, hey, Jen, what's up? You're cool, whatever, like new people, however it is. It's like you said, there's a sense of where do you belong physically because of your height, because of your shade, because of whatever it is, instead of just like, and so my motto has always been um, making sure that I have that I'm presenting my skill set and what I can do and not focusing so much on because I didn't choose this avatar when it comes down to it. I didn't choose this body. I didn't choose this skin color. I didn't choose this. Maybe on some like deeper plane level or something, I did, but for the most part like we come into this world how we come. And so my goal is to focus on what I do with that time here and what I can accomplish with that time here, and not so much, connecting with people based on art and skill and energy and how we get along and kindness and gratefulness, and being grateful for what I've been given and how to use that to accomplish something great.
And that's the most important thing is that we have to do that because honestly, and personally for me, like my background growing up and everything, I truly had to create my own space because
Exactly.
it didn't exist. Like in the area I grew up in and like the creativity, the like kind of theater kid, almost like theater kid, but I did I was acting at like age 3 and 4. So like I've been doing stuff in front of cameras for quite some time, but I just wasn't doing stuff like on the stage all the time. But like that, you have to create your own spaces because sometimes it doesn't exist or you don't feel like included in some of those other spaces. People are like, oh yeah, like it's whatever, but okay, I'm too segregated or I'm just tolerated in this space. And that's always like my favorite thing about this, especially this podcast, is where's the level of tolerance? Like, how is that so different? Like, why aren't we just together?
Yeah, why can't we just get along? And a lot of it is because we were raised different. A lot of people are raised to judge other people based on things like their skin color or their hairstyle or the way their makeup is or the way they act, instead of like, oh, someone's talking a little bit louder, they must be being rude. And it's like, no, they're not being rude. They're just expressing themselves because they're a little bit more passionate about that thing at the moment or whatever it is, or maybe they were raised in a place where they had to talk over other people because everyone else was talking, and it's like, I'm trying to get my point across. Let me talk. And so it's like, people aren't trying to be rude. They're just passionate and trying to get their point across maybe, or, different things where like to us like food is the way we connect with each other. Food, you sit down to dinner, you all eat together, and like that's that's how we bond. It's like, oh, let's go get dinner, let's make dinner, oh, let me make dinner for you, come over, eat at my house, whatever it is. And so I think trying to find other people that you connect with on similar basis with how you were raised versus like, oh, that person's Hispanic, I'm gonna go hang out with them, or that person's, you know what I mean. um, it's more like that person's an artist. I connect with them because they enjoy music the same way I do, or they enjoy movies the same way I do. So that's how, I'm not saying it's a better way to do things, but it's definitely a more respectable way to do things, maybe. Um, I mean, I think it's a better way to do it because that's how I do it. But I think, okay, hold on, I'll show you my whole outfit.
Oh, this is cute. This is adorable.
Thanks. My whole look finished. But
This
I
is a
do need
look.
to, thank you. I do need to wrap up soon ish.
So, but that's actually, I got two more
Okay.
questions for you. So, questions is, how would you inspire?
I hope to inspire people by creating my own little world and my own lane and being able, like I said, to connect with other people based on those things. I try to inspire people just by, what do you call it? Staying consistent and staying persistent. So there's some people that are like, I just had a client who brought me some alterations that I did a dress for 10 years ago. Like I did a dress for her daughter for prom literally 10 years ago, and I was like, it has not been 10 years, and she was like, yeah, it has. I'm like, oh my god, that's crazy. Like I've been doing this like for so long. It doesn't feel like it, but it's like the more persistent you are in your goals, whether it's like, okay, I got a new job, I need to start working and saving up this money or whatever it is, or using that money towards my hobbies and like getting into that more, whatever you're wanting to like go for, you just need to be persistent about it and keep doing it. Because some people will be doing this for like a year and they're like, oh, I haven't popped off yet, I'm giving up. Why? Is that not really what you want to be doing then? Like, even if I wasn't where I am, I would still be doing this. Like, that's the thing. And I would still be making music and I would still be making my own clothes and, making clothes for other people. So it's like, yeah, yeah, exactly. Making some fabulous Ruby Rod cosplays. And Fifth Element. Hold on, here's the other Fifth Element one. I need a poster of you up here so I can put Ruby Rod, Lilu, and then I did another Lilu. Um, so I need you like over here, a
I,
poster.
I promise you, I will be up on
Yeah,
that wall. We
yeah,
will.
yeah.
I will be scheduling some stuff with one of my photographers soon. So trust and believe, you will be getting those there. I promise you. I promise you that.
My Tinkerbell shoes.
See,
I,
so
yeah, that's my goal, just to be a little fairy Tinkerbell, ding, knighting you with creative energy.
the crown. One of
Yeah.
my last question for you is: can you tell our audience about anything you have like upcoming, like this year, going into next year for that matter?
Yes. Okay. So, album coming out in November. It'll have probably about 10 songs on it, new songs that I self-produce. So I create all the beats, all the music. I record my own vocals. I edit everything myself. There's probably one or two that I'll have mixed and mastered, but for the most part, everything I do myself. And then November 9th, mark your calendars. That is going to be a fashion show here in the building. So here at Sabine Street Studios. Here, I'm gonna go in the hallway so I can show you if it doesn't lag too much. And the fashion show will be right out here, down the hallway. And it's neon themed. So we'll have it, usually starts back here, and then walk, 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 all the way over there, and then audience down there. So I'm excited about that. It's all neon themed. This is like a sneak peek here at some of the fabrics that we're going to be using, that you will be seeing. And then over here too, there's some neon stuff here.
It's giving Brad.
Ooh, yes. I want to give everything.
I will be there in attendance,
Yes.
most definitely.
Yes. So mark your calendars. I haven't released any like sign up thing or anything yet, but it's coming. So keep an eye out.
Keep my eyes on it for sure. And then look, give me 2 minutes. There's one other important question I wanted to ask, and I kind of glossed over it. But what important fact you can tell our audience about Hispanic Heritage Month?
The only thing I really know that would be important, and I don't know. I think it's important because of what it is. But I mean it was started in like the 1960s, I think, and then wasn't really enacted until the 80s. So that's pretty recent if you think about it. And it's not even like I'm an 86 baby. So I think
86.
it was after I was born, it was actually enacted. So as a law that we had to like celebrate it, or that we had to like observe it. Um, so even in my lifetime, there was like 2 years where I didn't even get to celebrate Hispanic Heritage Month legally. So yeah, so that's crazy when you think about it. That it's like, you know, taken this much time. I mean, we've always had Hispanic. Like Texas used to be Mexico, basically. Like part of Texas used to be Mexico, which is where. And so when I say I'm from Mexico, that's what I mean. Is that our family really never moved. We've always been like San Antonio, Houston, the Valley, when it was Mexico. And then the border kind of was like bloop 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 bloop, and we got taken over. And then it's like, okay, well, I guess I don't. We didn't really choose. So that's why it's hard to like fit in, because it's not like the typical my family came to America for a better life kind of story. It was like our family got taken advantage of and our land stolen. So a little bit different. but but same feeling of like, where do we belong, you know?
Well, look, you definitely belong in my heart because you are most certainly like
Thank
one of
you. I hope so. Well, you are the best. Thank you so much for having me. It's been a pleasure.
taking the time to be here. I'm just gonna do my for us real quick, and then I'll be sure that you get to see it on YouTube, like show you the link and everything like that.
Awesome.
But again, thank you all for listening today, and a big thank you to Gin Martini for taking the time out of your day to sit here with me. If you would like to see more of Gin Martini, check out her Instagram at Gin Martini Designs, or you can also check her out at Gin Martini Sings as well. And I don't know if you had a website that was up too. Did you have a
Not at the moment.
website?
Just Instagram and Facebook for now. Yeah.
Okay. And you can also find and Gin Martini Designs. If you like today's interview, don't forget to subscribe and like. Also, be sure to check out my website, davidthesmiley.com, for more upcoming podcasts, events I'll be attending, and also drag performances as well. Again, I'm David Smiley. Thank you all for being here today. Have a wonderful day, and I hope to see you on the